Good, you?
Good. All right. Obviously, a fun game on the road for our team. Was good to see them, play a good game for 4 quarters and really come out fast. I'm certainly excited about what this week has in front of us. Getting to play a great team in Oregon State. Obviously, they've done a really good job this season and consistently do a really good job. So I had a good practice today and ready to get back to work.
Start here with the second row there.
Looking back at the film and especially offensively, were there things that stood out that weren't great, or was it as good as it looked like when watching it live?
No, it all went really smooth. I think we wanted to be a little more efficient in the run game. But beyond that, we were able to hit some explosive passes early on, and to start your first 6 series and go score all six, I think speaks volumes.
All right, Zach.
Short week this week and the holiday. How does that change your preparation and just your overall schedule?
Yeah, you kind of lose your Monday that you typically have. So today we had a Tuesday practice. Your players are getting out there on the field again a little bit quicker than they normally would too. So we just kind of bump it up a day and condensed a lot of stuff into a Sunday yesterday.
Front left, James.
Following on the run game, just can you evaluate Bucky's performance last week? It was a little uncharacteristic in that he doesn't usually get stopped for a loss 3 times. Just his decision making and play overall.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that necessarily on Bucky. I thought they did a good job of doing some stuff with the front. And I know Bucky would certainly want to have some moments back, but I thought he played well. And there's just some things that we could have done better to handle some of the movements and stuff that they did.
Back right, Trevor.
You coached against DJ back in 2021. What are some of the areas that he's grown the most in over these past couple of years since then?
Yeah, I mean, he's a really confident player right now on film. Obviously, he had some, critical runs in their game on Saturday, but he's had a lot of big ones this season. I think, his ability to run the ball is really impressive, but has a big arm, has a strong arm, he can throw the ball down the field, and is doing a really good job of running their offense. I know there's a lot of checks that the quarterback has to go through. He's done a nice job of, incorporating those checks and getting them into the right play.
Second row on the right, Jared.
I wonder if there's an update on Evan Williams, if he came through okay.
Yeah, Evan's doing good. Was out there at practice today.
Back, Matt.
What makes Damian Martinez just so good?
Yeah, strong runner. I feel like we play great running backs every single week, but he's a special one. I mean, he gets the tough yards. Obviously, their system is a little bit different, so downhill runs. But a lot of those they're able to stretch the defense and then find a hole and hit it vertical, and he does a really good job with that.
Second row on the left, Eric.
Your introduction to the Rivalry series last year was obviously a little disappointing in terms of how it played out at the end. I wonder how you'll use maybe the final quarter and a half there as motivation this week, and if some of that still kind of sits with you.
Yeah, I think it resonates with every single one of us, and certainly not far from our mind. They're a good team. We had to go play really well to compete against them, and you got to play an entire game.
Front right, Zach.
Our defensive line has been really impressive this year. I think they're 5th in the nation in sacks. What have you seen from them on tape that that you need to slow down?
Yeah, we have great talent and guys that are executing their job at a really high level. We have good plans for these guys each week, and they've gone out there and they've embraced whatever the plan is. We change quite a bit, each week, and those guys have done a good job of executing whatever we've asked them to do with good talent.
Front left, James.
Are there specific things from last year's game that stick with you most, Dan? Like Casey Rogers mentioned specifically, obviously they're running it 19 straight times to finish it off. Are those the things that you've hit on throughout the course of the year, that you'll hit on throughout the course of this week? What sticks out with you most?
Yeah, I mean, really, you look in the fourth quarter and really towards the end of the game, they beat us in all 3 phases, right? But certainly their ability to run the ball at the end of the game was a detriment. Us getting the ball down inside the 10 with an opportunity to score and not finishing, some poor special teams play. We just didn't have our best performance, especially at the end of the game.
In the back, Matt.
How important is it to you to continue playing this game after the season? I realize schedules are booked out well in advance, but is this something that you want to continue when dates become available?
Yeah, I think, games like this are really important, and it would be great if that's something we can make happen and continue to make happen. I know everybody on our end would love to see that continue.
Front right, Zach.
Just from afar, what have you seen from Jonathan Smith this year as far as getting their team ready and kind of dealing with a lot of outside noise with things that are out of his control? What have you seen from him?
Yeah, I've always been very impressed with Jonathan. I mean, I just think that his teams are always playing really good football at the end of the season. They're always tough teams. They can win, in a variety of ways, but they do it their way. It's certainly unique to them. There's not a lot of other people that play that same brand of football. And his teams are hard-nosed, tough kids. They do a really good job.
Second row left, Eric.
It's Thanksgiving this week, time with family. I wonder if you could reflect on the fact that you've got a couple father sons, you've got brothers on this team, and just kind of the family element that you guys have there.
Yeah, I think that's something that we're all thankful for, the connection that we have on this team. We have several coaches that obviously get to coach their sons every day out at practice. I think that's awesome for them. I think we're all thankful to be here at Oregon, and certainly this is a great week to remind yourself what to be thankful for.
Front left, James.
Unique circumstance for Mateo and DJ, and brothers have played each other in games everywhere before. The Sewells used to do it here. It's rare where a defensive end and a quarterback. What do you say to Mateo in this kind of situation because of its uniqueness?
Hit your brother. Both great competitors. I think they're probably excited to go compete against each other, and both really talented players. So that's not bigger than the game, and they both know that, and Mateo certainly knows that. So it'll be fun for him to go out and compete. It'll be fun for his family. He's got a great family. I'm excited for them to get to see that.
Second row on the right here.
Yeah, kind of that same note. What have you seen on tape that makes this Oregon State offensive line so effective?
Yeah, they do a good job of moving bodies up front, right? They are one of the best at adding hats at the point of attack and making you be really disciplined in your run fits. And if you're not, they're going to crease you, right? If there's two guys standing in the same hole, they're going to make sure they run to the open one, and they do a really good job of that.
Back right, Garb.
Last year after the game, you said they were the more physical team than you guys. I mean, what do you see from your group this year that tells you that it's going to be different this time around?
We got to play the game first. We're going to find out. Right, we've been physical certainly at times this season, but it's going to take a physical game to be effective in this one.
Front left, James.
What are they doing in terms of pass defense, particularly on third down, that puts them in such a good spot? I believe they're holding teams, the pass efficiency is like under 100 on third down. What makes them so effective there?
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest areas that they game plan week in and week out, and they change up what they do. But they play a variety of coverages, whether it's tight man or versions of, 4 deep with like spot coverage where they have some 2 underneath defenders that'll drop out. Some versions of man and zone really kind of mixed together. They have a plethora of coverages that they'll play, and they've done it effectively.
Second row left, Eric.
What is it about the receiving core that's allowed them to be so effective despite some height? And both the guys are, I think, 5'8", but still very successful guys.
Speed. They have elite speed. They catch the ball really well. They're where they need to be, and they're a really good shot team. They use their play action. They really use their run game to set up their play action passes, and have done a really good job in the screen game as well. I mean, they're the kind of guys that can catch the ball and take it for 80 yards with the speed that they have.
In the back, Matt.
They're really efficient scoring in the red zone. I think only one time this season they haven't. What makes them so successful down there?
Yeah, they just attack you in a variety of ways. They run the ball really, really effectively in the red area. They use the quarterback, down there as a run threat, and then they have the ability to throw the ball as well and some, target. They do unique things to get those guys open.
Front left, James.
When the stakes are as big as they are, but also as sharp as they are, where it's win and obviously the potential to play for a championship, playoff, etc., and a loss, and all of those things could be going away. How do you try to? What is the message to the team in that you don't want to make it bigger than what it is, but the stakes are pretty significant one way or the other?
Yeah, our players understand exactly what's at stake here for this game. They want to go out there and have their best performance, and leave it up to them and not to something else.
So we have for you, Coach.
All right, appreciate it.
Appreciate it.